You're live. You're live.
I am alive, or we alive. We alive.
Hey man, how you doing, dude?
I'm very good. Do you know what's interesting is that anybody that's watching this right now is legitimately going to think that we've been sat on for about half an hour chatting before it started. But no, this is like probably the worst put together live stream of all time. You can hear the
Well,
remnants of the F1 in the background of Pig. That's at Pig Cake side, not mine. And yeah, I've just got back from the Hallusion convention in Hull.
where is that?
In Hull. Um,
Hole. Okay. You
yeah.
you said hole like it's somewhere I'm gonna recognize.
Okay, so it's in the north of England. It's probably as well known as like New York or
Okay.
California. It's not like London or Birmingham or whatever, but Hull's a pretty established city. So I went over, yeah, and watched a couple of the lectures today. Went and jammed with a few people, and then drove back. So I just literally thrown the computer open, and here we are.
That sounds like a fun time, but you were driving how long? Like how long is it from your place?
So here's the thing, right? So here's the rub. I um I had to take Steve, and so because I was driving Steve there, we decided to
Hmm.
take the classic Mustang. Now it's drove better than it's drove before for a long time, and I tuned it with Neil, and then it topped out at 50. It won't let me go any faster than 50, so something's still not right. So it held us back, and it took us nearly 2 hours to get there, and nearly 2 hours back. So a 4 hour round trip to go somewhere that's an hour away from house.
Well, luckily you're not having to record it or doing any project that involves recording of it, because otherwise that'd be a nightmare.
He's driving so local distances anywhere up to 50 mile an hour. He's driving better than it's ever driven. But there's
Hmm.
just something. I think it's not providing enough fuel.
Okay.
So
Which
it's just a carburetor issue. But who knows?
who knows? Yeah, it could be a pin. It could be God knows anything. You have the dumbest logic when it comes to using cars because you have like eight different cars, two different bikes, and yet you choose the one that was from the '60s that essentially requires like weekly maintaining. Like you have to maintain it every single week. If not, it's going to run like it's running currently.
Well, it is what it is. It'll be what it is. But yeah, it's been a long day. And do you know what? I realized today that I don't think the whole it's such a tiring day going to a convention and jamming and sitting down, and it's a long. Yeah, I've just literally just got back from like 10 days abroad. So we're out in Turkey. We went out onto the Mediterranean Sea. I went scuba diving and all host of other things. And that was supposed to be a break, right? And it just, I had so much stuff to do whilst I were away that I didn't get a chance to rest. And then I come back and I do this convention. I'm like, how do people do this every single? It was so tiring. Like, I don't think it's for me. It's not, and it's not because of the people there. The people there were amazing. It was great to catch up with everybody. The lectures were really good. It was just like a good time, but it were having to be constantly switched on. And people are asking you questions. Oh well, what did you think of this? And have you seen this? And what do you think of that? And it's like, oh, I was just dead.
Well,
You know,
luckily it was one day for you. It wasn't like the Blackpool experience, which is 3 days of the convention itself, about 3 days before the convention of nonstop this and this
it's hard
and
work.
this.
It's hard work. I've gotten to a point now where I think I'm at a point where I'm all magicked out. I really do think I'm at a point where I'm all magicked out. I'm like trying to have a few days. I mean, so I leave from here. I leave from here Tuesday, 2 days time to go back to America.
Hmm. And
And then
where are you going, man?
so I'm gonna fly firstly out towards California,
Okay.
then from California into Vegas, then from Vegas into New York, and then from New York into Atlanta, and then from Atlanta into Texas, and then from Texas back to New York, from New York back to Vegas, back to California, and then back to London.
Let me tell you, that sounds like a great trip. Apart from when you said New York, California, Atlanta, you did go back to Texas, which depends on the part of Texas you're in.
I don't really know. I'm still at a point where, and this is okay. So just for everybody watching, this is not related to this box. It's not related to the psychic survival kit. This is just other things that I've got to get out of the way. But yeah, I'm just so busy at the minute, and I'm trying to find. And the problem is that right now, So just as this is an update, this is where officially someone's going to put in the comments, fast forward it to 26 minutes and 19. They're actually giving an update.
That's fine.
But right now we're playing a waiting game. So it's like, because we're backwards in and forwards in, we've finally managed to track down pretty much all the props, which, you know, we talked about. I think you sent an update out a few days ago.
Mhm.
We've tracked down everything. We had a few, I don't want to say hiccups. Hiccups is the wrong word, but obstacles. And when you're talking to people, realizing that when you say to them, I want an 8x10 bag, and then they send you a message and they say, oh, we've got 10x10. You're like, no, I want 8x10. Oh, yeah, but we've got 10x10. You're like, no. If you don't have it, just tell me you don't have it so that I can go elsewhere. And it's
We're
like
trying to
that.
rope you in.
Yeah, that's it. And it's a lot of backwards and forwards. But anyway, long story short, the only thing that we have to procure is, and it's only because we're waiting on a prototype of it, is the box. That's it. Everything else is pretty much dealt with, apart from a couple of executive decisions when it comes to the stones and the pendulums. But we have added so much more into the tarot deck. We've taken the astrological card and we're looking at making that an actual credit card because we had so many people pledge. We're looking at different alternatives with the stones. We finally got the blindfold section filmed. We've wrote the Cold Reader's Companion. That's all done. That's edited. That's gone off to print. Like the Psychic Survival Guide, we've got it all in its different pieces. We're just looking at putting in, so whatever the best user experience is going to get copied in, so that into a particular order, and Pigcake's going to take care of that. So we're actually in good stead. The only thing is, because we're waiting on stuff, I'm still hoping that this is going to be and ready to start being shipped out prior to Christmas, which is the aim. But again, it all just depends on the state of the world. You know what I mean? Like that's some of that's out of our hands.
Yeah,
Anything
that's the
anything that's out of our hands is something that, you know. But that's the aim. Still, we're still on track. Actually, I think we're ahead of schedule because all the videos are practically done, apart from like part 2 of the documentary, which I have a really cool intro that I sent you.
yeah.
The intro's done, which arguably it took me longer to make than editing the entire second part of the documentary. But that's done. It looks really cool. And then there's just the behind the scenes of the behind the scenes.
Yeah, and then there's also the what do you call this? Beyond the Veil, right? That's interviews and fun stuff.
Yeah,
So there's
that's easy because that's just me talking to people like this.
yeah.
So I'm going to do that in December.
Yeah.
Which that stuff will definitely go out prior to Christmas. Like that stuff's easy because it's just me sending it out. Do you know what I mean? The Cold Reader's Companion and other add-ons and stuff like that. I'm pretty confident that we can get that out before Christmas. Well, I'm confident that that is possible. And it might even be that, look, the videos, you know, the stuff that don't require the use of the props, we could probably get that out as well. But I think this is just a conversation for another time. But the point is that, just to update everybody, we're well on track. We've managed to get the stones, they're looking right. We've managed to track down the bottles and the chains, they're looking right. We've managed to track down the bags. We found the person that's going to make the bags, which is amazing. We've found the company that are going to make the astrological card, the better version of it, which is the plastic credit card style version for long life. We've finished we worked with Manel on the designs, the back designs of the tarot cards, which are now looking great. We've looked at the faces. We've made some decisions on a couple of the faces, which is great. We've finally got down to the what other cards are going to come in. We've just added, in fact, the other day, you know, we had a quick 10-15 minute chat, not outside of that, but between Pigcake and I, we came up with a beautiful little reworking of a book test that uses a part of the tarot deck, but it allows you to go get any book that's out there, as long as it's a text-based book and not pictures. And they can think of any word inside there, and you know exactly what that word is, and that's just been added in there. So yeah, we're really happy. We're in good stead.
It's just a matter of you know, dealing with all the external issues. That's the fun part, because there's as much that we could do, which is you know, just try to make sure that we're holding our end of the bargain. But now you're dealing with other people, which is always the fun part of these things. But
yes, and that's it. And look, like in terms of videos and stuff, I'm going to try to make my videos a bit more frequent. I know I come off YouTube a little bit and social media, but I've just literally been stacked. I mean, I didn't realize how much work this is. And also, to be very honest with everybody, Like at this moment in time, you won't believe the nightmares that we've had just trying to get the funds from Kickstarter and from PayPal and other. It's been like the things that we've had to provide them with just to be able to get the money that you pledge. I mean, in fact, I'd say we still not got 35% of it.
Yeah, there's still a good portion that they're holding back for a good amount of time.
I think that's because of the late pledges that we put in.
Yeah. I guess it makes sense on their end, but still, it's kind of rough. Sorry, I'm looking at Max Verstappen keep number one, and Lando Norris just got second. This is what I'm looking at while I'm talking to you. But somebody did ask a question about the live stream, the 24-hour live stream, which is kind of a shame because it's gone forever.
So it's there, but it's just still not processed.
Yeah, but the problem is I looked it up. YouTube apparently doesn't do anything with streams past 12 hours, which is a shame because after 12 hours, they just can't deal with it. So they choose not to. So everything's essentially gone with that, which is a shame because it was 24 hours of interviews and fun moments. My favorite moment is when we were trying to figure out how much time was left. And it was about 7 hours and you thought it was 3 hours. And then I did this. I was like, as if 7 were going to change if I turned around my hand like this, just because we're absolutely fucked.
It got so tiring. Like so tiring. Is
Yeah,
there
it
any
was a
question
shame.
anybody wants any answers to? Because that's one thing that I'm here for. You know, I don't want to. The thing is with this is, look, it's important for us just to show our faces, to let you know that we're still on track. That's what I wanted this to be about. It's not like meant to be a big mental epic where we sit here for hours chatting backwards and forwards. But I just want everybody to know that everything's still on track. You know,
Yeah.
the props are looking good. We've added more stuff to the box. I've got more time of R&D. I'm making more notes and adding more stuff daily to like the little like companion that comes with it, and you know, really happy with the blindfold section. Like I say, that's really what this is about, just to give everybody the word that we're still here, we've not disappeared, and everything's looking good.
Well, there's obviously some people are asking the thing. This is obviously in reference to the Psychic Survival Kit, the Kickstarter, very successful campaign that we ran. I believe, September now?
Is that when it was?
Yeah, I think so. Not September. It might have been August, I think, that the campaign was. And then now we're in October. And yeah, it's good that it's making steadfast progress and hopefully one of many. But right now we're dealing with the fun part of the fulfillment.
You know, this is one thing that everybody needs to know is it's not as seamless as you'd like to think it is. So like my thoughts were, oh, we'll design this, we'll do this, and then we'll just message these companies and they'll do X, Y, and Z for us. And it's not quite as simple as that. But what's really nice, and this is the thing that's really important for everybody to know, that going forwards, if we ever decide to do anything like this again, we've now got the contacts under our belt to be able to do that in a more streamlined fashion next time, because we know what it is we want to work with again. We know what it is we want to deal with. Now, the bit that I think is going to be the bit that's the biggest nightmare is not the procuring of the props, it's getting them out.
Yeah.
That's the bit, packaging the stuff up and getting them out. But we are dedicating, whenever they come in, we'll update and we'll do. Do you know what I think would be really interesting? That'd be really, I think, an interesting thing is to do a live stream when we're putting together the packages.
Oh, yeah.
That might be fun. Like, that's something we could do.
So well, I mean, obviously, right now it seems like it's hopefully still towards the tail end of December for this. We're going to try to do that, but it's just depending on shipping for this. So when we're getting all the stuff to put it together, hopefully people are going to get their stuff in a timely fashion.
Oh, that's the main thing. The only thing is just to be aware that, like you said, right now, for me, I'd love it to be. If it were here tomorrow, I'd have somebody packaging it up and sending it out tomorrow. It's just all the videos are done on our end. 99% of the book is done. It just needs piecing into place. The box is the thing that we're looking still to get, but we've got the prototype coming. We finally managed to find a company that's good enough to do that. The first one, moderate. This one, I think, is going to be better and thicker quality. And it's just waiting on other people now.
Yeah.
As soon as they deliver on their end, we're golden on our end. Do you know what I mean? So that's it.
So let's go through some of these that you got as far as questions. Some adulation, some hey man, good afternoon, good morning. We have hey Peter, I have a quick question. about opening routine slash opening lines. Please, gambits you've used in the past. I don't want to settle for filming something. Could you participate? I guess that they're just in reference to lines that you've used to open.
Well, do you mean like so? They don't mean walking around with a camera. They just
Mhm.
mean just just with regular people, or do they mean in the context of like a live performance or just on the
Well,
street?
I figured that here he did a follow up saying, even though I know nowadays is the most popular way to go about performing in reference to having somebody filming it, is there a more conversational gambit or way to approach somebody? What criteria do you look for in an opening?
So depends on what it is that I'm looking for, which sounds ridiculous, but I'll be really quick when I answer this. If I'm working on a show and I'm working for somebody or with somebody whenever I'm consulting, it depends on. So, for example, it depends on the kind of routine that we're performing. So, let's say it's an
Mhm.
astrological routine. I'm not going to waste my time picking somebody that looks like me, right? What my aim's going to be is I'm going to pick. I'll go and if it's pre-show or whatever for a TV show, and it's something that's reading based. It might be that I'll find a group of girls that are a particular age that are having a good time walking down the road. Because then when you go to them and you're doing something, you know that they're going to be invested in what it is that you're doing, and at the same time, you know that you're going to get the best reaction.
Mhm.
So the first thing that you're looking for there is the criteria of the selection process is solely based on what it is you're performing. So, for example, if let's say I were doing something with a drill, I might I'm just making this up. I might look for somebody that I think in my head would be somebody that's well versed when it had come to that stuff. If it's something that's singing or it's music related or it's song related, I'll find a busker or I'll find someone that's already interested in that stuff because half the battle's already done if they're interested in it.
Mhm.
So, if you see somebody sat at the side of the road doing those caricatures, you already know that they're interested in drawing. And therefore, if you're going to perform something, it's probably going to be a lot easier and better. But that's for camera, right? So you
Yeah.
said you don't want it to be when it's camera. So usually by the nature of what it is that you do, if you're just having general conversations, chances are people, when you tell them what it is that you do, I always thought it's a little bit strange and embarrassing. I don't really want to say what it is that I do. And they always go, no, no, go on. And you're like, yeah, but it sounds stupid when I say it out loud without showing you. And then they say, well, what is it you do? So, there's companies out there that design layout plans in supermarkets to influence you to buy specific products. And they go, yeah. And he said, my job's like that. It's I literally read and influence people. You mean you read and influence people? Well, instead of telling you, let me show you, right? Like in a casual conversation, just the intrigue of what it is that you do is usually good enough to sell what it is that you do. But I'm a big believer in letting people come into your world. So the problem with the question, and I don't want to pick apart your question, but the problem with the question is, how do I approach somebody?
Mhm.
And I think that everything's better when you look at it the opposite way around. So how can I have somebody find themselves into my world? So, imagine pinning a note to a tree and just sitting there and watching, letting people pass. And as soon as somebody picks it up and opens it, you then walk in. You say
Mhm.
to before you open that up, and now the intrigue's already built. Do you know what I mean? Leaving something. So I came up with this thing a long time ago. What I did is I manipulated a Henry Ford quote, and the line was something like, "If you believe you can or you believe you can't, you're right."
Okay, that's funny. Yeah.
And so what the idea that I had in my head was that you put like a card on, like when you go to a table in a restaurant, they've got the like number 22 on the little stand.
Yeah.
But putting a playing card on that, and then as they walk past you, saying to them, "Do you believe you could tell me what that card is?" And they go, "No," and you go, "What is it?" And they go, "Six of diamonds." And everyone who says no walks past it and looks back, and they're wrong. But everybody who says yeah, everybody who says that walks past it and gets it right.
That's cool.
You know what I mean? And then it were going to be this bit where it then jumped into like a drawing duplication where you have 10 people in a square, they've all got a pad and a pen, you've got a pen and you're drawing something. They're right, all look at me and try to work out what you think the drawing is. And all 10 people start to draw and you say, okay, if you doubted yourself or you don't think you've got it right, go stand over there. But if you're confident you've got it right, go stand over there. So they separate themselves like an out of this world. And then you say, right, everybody who thinks they got this right, close your eyes. How many of you got this right? And you're pointing to the people that thought they got it wrong, and not one of them got it right. Then you turn it back towards yourself and you say, let's all turn ours round at the same time. And you turn it round and all 5 of them have got it right and they match yours. Do you know what I mean? And they've separated themselves based on belief. So these little things are ways to have them find themselves into your world.
Mhm.
Just leaving a coin on the floor. Do you know what I mean? If you're going to do like a witch hand routine and just waiting until somebody picks it up.
It's so annoying now because when we've done it, like we go out and record, for example, when we went to man, where is it? Like an hour and a half away from your house. Where do you go and record? Not Manchester, right? That it's you want to have a big camera because then people take you seriously, right? If you're going the recording route, but if you're, for example, trying to do a running gun and you're doing it on your phone, and you get attributed with the people that are doing the the street stuff, like the hey man, and asking all these inappropriate questions, which is kind of a shame because usually you're trying to do it to make some form of either project or and you're getting roped in with all these guys that are doing it that way. But having them approach you is definitely sort of the best way about it.
I think it's the better approach. Is look, people are intrigued. Do you know what I mean? Curiosity killed the cat.
Mhm.
People are intrigued at what it is that you're doing. So just find interesting ways to make yourself look interesting and let people walk into your world. And then they've come to see you and they're more likely to listen.
Mhm.
And I just think that that's a recipe for success.
Yeah, rather than having to do this, hi, I'm the wandering magician, and I'm wondering if you wanted to see something, and then they could say no, and then you're embarrassed, and it's a nightmare. It's funny. I think I told you this before, but I noticed the difference when I went around shooting with Mark and you, right? Because I was shooting, helping Mark shoot a project, Mark Lemon, and Mark, we're using this really tiny Sony camera, and obviously with you, we're using this beast, the 1DX Mark II, and nobody wanted to stop for us, right? Just because you're rinky dinky with this thing. But for us, and even in Manchester, it happened where people go, "Oh, what are you doing there? What are you guys doing?" And that's a perfect lead. And oh yeah, we're actually reading people's minds. We're doing this. This guy's mind reading it, whatever. And then that is your lead in. But and I've seen it so many times on social media where it's funny. Somebody you leave a phone on the floor, you leave something that they could grab, something that they interact with, and then now you're in it. But obviously, I think if you're not doing that in filming, then it's just
it's still, you don't need to always do it to film. It's like sometimes you're just sharing your gift.
true. But I think using the camera as a even if you're not using it for any sort of project or social media or anything, YouTube, if you're just having the camera there as a means to talk to somebody, that to me sounds like a nice way to go about it. That's sort of less aggressive than hi, I'm just here by myself. Can I show you something weird? Or oh yeah, you're not going to believe what I do.
But that's why I was saying to you that sometimes the conversational route where
Yeah.
you just, it's not, you won't believe what I do. I always go with a more of a humble approach where it's more like, it's a little bit of an embarrassing job
Yeah.
because when you tell people think I'm lying, and and what you tend to get there is the intrigue of people wanting to see it
Mhm.
at that point is much greater. So hopefully that answers that question. But yeah.
Some other ones here. Hey, I'd love to know how many routines or effects you'd recommend for a close-up set table hopping and how to try to introduce yourself and get the confidence to perform to people, which is two wildly different avenues. But
Well, so just to quickly answer I have a toolbox of stuff. So I have a toolbox of stuff that I use. I don't sit there and go, okay, I have one billet routine where I can do. Look, this is the thing that you've got to remember, and I've always said this. Excluding a spoon bend, you can pretty much do every single mentalism effect with a billet piece.
yeah,
Or a force or something with a billet. Like even PK touches you can do if you know what you're doing with a billet,
I think even a spoon bend you could do.
not with a billet.
Yeah, there's some ways to go about it. I think having them imagine certain things and really pretend so I could get in your head, and then ways that you've said.
But I don't think you're bending a spoon at that point. You're still.
No, yeah. There's a sort of
You know what I mean?
hypnotic
So,
thing. Yeah.
you better do it with hypnosis. But the point I'm making there is that it's like this, right? So if I said to you, you've got a black marker pen, and I said to you, right, what can you do with it? And you went, write and draw. That really simplifies or overly simplifies all the things that you could do with it. So, for example, you could do pointillism and you could do a series of dots to make an image. You could write a word or a sentence. You could write a poem. You could write a song. You could write your name. You could write in a language that maybe somebody couldn't read. You can draw exponentially. Like there's so many things that you could do. So the question is that instead of sitting there and going, okay, I've learned sneak thief. Okay, now I've learned how to reveal a name somebody's thinking of. Okay, now I've learned how to do a drawing duplication. Sometimes the learning just the techniques, the principles of how to do like stuff with billets, how to do like a double lift, or how to just learn the tools. Because then what happens is you open up your options, and there's the amount of times that people will not challenge me because that's the wrong word, but they'll request that
Hmm.
I can do something,
Yeah, I've
and
seen it.
it's always something that I'd never anticipated before. But by learning the tools, I'm like, yeah, no problems.
Hmm.
You know, let's try it. It might. Let's see. It's a two-way street. It requires as much work from you as it does me. So the point there is that there's no set amount, but tailor make. So every table that I sit down at, or every performance that I give is different.
Hmm.
It's different, right? So I don't go, okay, I know an out of this world, so I'm going to do an out of this world at this table, this table, this table, this table. I don't. The very first thing that I do is I sit down and I get to know them,
Do you think that's
right?
practical in a table hopping situation?
Well, to ask somebody what they do for a living.
No, no, I'm saying, but to be because in that case there is some sort of context. Like if you're sat down and it could be a formal performance, then yeah. But if it's
Even gigs that I'm doing, the very first
yeah,
thing, I'll give you an example, right? So be realistic. Don't pick like so much stupid because you know what I mean. But so I sit down with you and I say, my name's Pete. What's your name?
pig cake.
Pardon?
My name's Pig Cake.
Pig cake. What is it you do for a living, pig cake?
I actually am a banker.
A banker. Okay, so that obviously means that you work with data protection. It also means that you work with numbers on a daily basis. Is there a particular role that you have in the bank?
Yeah, I'm general branch manager.
Okay, so you're one of the only people in that bank that has the combination to the safe that keeps hold of all the corporate businesses' money, right?
Hmm.
And there'd be absolutely nobody that would know that in that branch outside of you.
Yeah,
So this is what I want you to do. I want you to make up a four-digit number that we can pretend is the four-digit number that unlocks that vault. And I'm
yeah.
going to show you just how fragile the information is on the vault. So then that's a PIN code revelation, but how personal did it feel? Because it were for you. So to sit there and to say, well, you know, I'm going in there with a pin revelation. Write down your pin code for me. I don't need to do that by asking you two sentences. That's a tailor-made performance for you now that you feel nobody else in this room's received.
Yeah, and it doesn't seem like you're one of these because the thing that I hate the most, and I guess if you're doing something a little bit more rigid, is this sort of structured
But
routine that you can't.
that's why it's very practical. That's what I'm saying to you to learn. I mean, to
Yeah.
give you another like let's go for another example, just so you
Hmm.
can see like so give me a different name. My name's Pete. What's your name?
My name's Jonathan.
So, Jonathan, you might be thinking to yourself, well, this guy's a mind reader. Why is he asking my name? So, I'm going to be really honest. It's a two-way street. Like, I don't claim to have psychic abilities, but if you want me to guess somebody's name, I can show you I can do that. But I love the social aspect of this, right?
Yeah.
So, Jonathan, what is it that you do for a living?
I'm actually an auditor.
Auditor. Who is it you audit?
I audit companies
Okay.
and make sure that they're running correctly.
So this is what I find interesting. There's a lot, and this will be different from the UK to the US, but we have obviously GDPR issues in the UK. So I know that you can't really tell me about some of the people that you've audited. But
Cool.
this is
Yeah.
what I want you to do. I want you to think about one company, and I think I've got a way that gets around the legislation of GDPR. You see, it's only a breach of that legislation if you physically tell me what it is. So
Hmm.
I want you to think of one of these companies that you audited that people at this table wouldn't believe they're a little bit nefarious, a little bit backdoor. I want you to write down who that is, and you're never going to say a word. And I'm going to try to tell you who it is by auditing you mentally.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. But just to be clear, I didn't, what I was trying to get at was not about it being practical. What I'm saying is certain situations that require like, for you to move from table to table and be a little bit more faster paced when it comes to your stuff.
But that's it. No, but I'm never you never need to be. Look, open with something that involves everybody that's
Mhm.
quick, then get to know people. But I'm not saying to have big long conversations.
Yeah. Yeah.
Look at the conversation we had with the bank teller, right?
Yeah.
So, what's your name? This. What is it you do? This. Okay, so you're the only person that has this number, so I want you to write that down. Or what? Or it's the same as my name's Pete. What's your name? My name's Pig Cake. Okay, Pig Cake. I want you to think of a four-digit number for me, a PIN code to an old bank card. Just write that. It's practically the same length of time,
Yeah.
but it just feels like you've made that experience for them. The
Mhm.
technique, look, let's be realistic. Are they still writing it down?
Yeah.
Yes. Are you still using a billet peak? Yes. Now, okay, so let's say you wanted to save time. So then you'd say to somebody, right, let's try this. You're going to do this. Point to anybody else at the table, probably the person you think's the most skeptical at the table. So they point to somebody and say, we'll do yours under test conditions. You're not going to write anything down just in case you think that maybe I'm looking at it. You're not going to say anything out loud. But what I do want you to do is think of a piece of information that proves to you beyond any shadow of a doubt that what I'm showing you is the real deal. Now, I went ahead from the piece of information for the bank teller to pick up the skeptic and then finish by unlocking the vault to get the money.
Mhm.
Right? I need to have two people writing something down. So it's knowing that the series of techniques, knowing that okay, I think I've had people write something down a little bit. It's getting on the edge of where I feel comfortable with this. Let me do something with a mobile phone now.
Yeah.
Okay, this is starting to get a little bit technological. So now let me do this. So I would, one thing I was talking about today that I think is really interesting, just for regular people that are table hopping, or that are even just in regular working in regular bars, or we have chains in England. I don't know if I've been to America a lot, and I know you have like Arby's and other things, but I mean, I
Yeah.
don't know
Too
if it,
many.
I don't know if it's the same as like Hungry Horse or Nando's or whatever.
Yeah.
But one idea that I had ages ago was, do you know how easy it is to take us to open up the menu of a Witherspoons on your phone and then screenshot it, and open up a Nando's menu and screenshot it, and do that for all the companies, but then make yourself a little book test out of
Oh,
each one
cool.
that's designed the exact same. So when you're there, then you say, "Oh, what table are we at? Table 13. Let me just scan." And now, let's say you're at Witherspoons, even just socially, you pretend to scan it and you open up your screenshot of the Witherspoons thing and you say, "Go to the menu, pick some," and now you do like a book test with the screenshots of the QR codes on the tables. It's like all of these things don't require a lot of thought. They just have to have texture. And I guess, look, there's no set rule to it. So don't sit here and
Mhm.
think I'm telling you there's a set rule. But I can tell you that when people think like that bank teller who you just became leave, they attribute you to having a skill that to them, think about it, right? So their entire job is to stop that breach of data happening. And you sat down within 5 seconds and just told them exactly that. Their biggest fear at work comes true socially, but not in a nefarious way. It's almost like a marvel, right? So you've instantly hit. Look at the skeptic. The one thing that proved to you beyond any shadow of a doubt that what I'm showing you is the real deal, right? So it's like
Mhm.
all of these concepts are big concepts because it's not just arbitrary shit that doesn't matter.
Yeah,
It does
exactly.
not.
That's the biggest thing I think that it comes to the rigidness is that they're just doing tricks for the sake of it, just for the sake of them having been hired by the organization. Whereas
And
if you
that's okay
cater
for
it,
a magician. Well, that's okay for a magician, and I think it's okay for a mentalist. If you like my version of Digital Force Bag, I've got several versions. But
uh-huh.
but if I'm working a corporate event and the book has said to me, look, this has got to be quick, it's got to be fun, everyone's got to be involved in it. Do you know what I do? I'm working with this group over here. I'll write down, say, Wizard of Oz or whatever the film is that I'm going to force, and I'll say, do you mind just taking that over to that group over there, but tell them not to open it, and just tell them that the mind reader set that down, and he'll be down in a moment. So now I do my routine here. Everybody's waiting for me over at Mind Reader. What's this bit of paper? Should we open it? The intrigue's there. I walk into that scenario and I say, now obviously this was delivered before I ever came over. But I want to show you just how interesting the human mind is. So I want you all to think of a number from 1 to 100. And I want you to pass this piece of paper around until one of you feels compelled to stop. Now, you're not going to know what it is that makes you feel compelled to stop, but it'll just be something that says to you, this were meant to end up with me. But let it go around a couple of times first. So it goes around a couple of times and then it stops, right? And now I open my phone and I say to him, what number did you go for? And I point to somebody that's not got the paper and they go, 16. I go, what number did you go for? And they go, 27. I go, you've got the piece of paper. What number did you go for? And they go, 62. And now I open it 62 and I go, look, if we'd have gone for 16, this is the film that would have been there. In fact, if we'd have gone for this number, this would have been there. What were your number? You didn't. You went for 62 and it's Wizard of Oz. Now think about this. This piece of paper came over here before I ever came to this table. You all thought of a number from 1 to 100 and it just so happened that you got the feeling to stop. open it up and see where it says. They open it, it says Wizard of Oz. Right? It's a beautiful little icebreaker
Yeah.
using something that everybody knows. Digital force bag, self-working,
Mhm.
right? The point is, but that adding that texture of involving everybody, having them all. Look how it normally goes. Give me a number from 1 to 100. Okay,
17. Yeah.
okay. What number would you have gone for? What number would is you're involving everybody? Everybody could have had all of that piece of paper. Anybody could have stopped with it, and it feels bigger, right? And
Yeah.
so it's not about the rigidity of what it is you're doing. It's just about what's your transition into the performance? What's the texture whilst you're in the performance? How are you involving everybody and keep it? Look at those as a concept, right? So imagine everybody sat around the table with you, and they all know you work in a bank,
Mhm.
and all of a sudden we're talking about the code to get into the vault. How's that not something that everybody wants to watch?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, yeah.
But
But
that's
again,
the
all because you're bringing in context. You're bringing in the
that's
context
it.
of the.
And that's what I'm saying. So there's nothing wrong with just going and doing digital force bag, nothing at all. But at the end of the day, there's easy ways to make that feel bigger by adding less than it doesn't have to be a big epic story that's 5 minutes long. It's just one sentence that makes a difference. And that's really the biggest secret I can share with you is how much can you say in a sentence?
Mhm.
How much can you say in a paragraph? Like, what's the shortest amount of text that you can say that provides the biggest context? And that's just being malleable and tailor making inverted commas your performances to them.
I was gonna say, I really, you say it, there's nothing wrong with it. I hate when most people do digital force bag because it just becomes pick a number. Okay, great. Look at the notes on my phone. Look at what it is. It's Wizard of Oz. It says Wizard of Oz here,
But
right? The
that's it.
last.
But there's a feeling, there's a journey to that, and it's like, look, in that corporate context, the beauty of delivering that piece of paper, the beauty of it being passed round, the
Yeah.
beauty. I mean, it makes it a bit bigger, but there's also better versions of things that you can do with digital force bag. Like, I worked on a show in Germany, and we knew that we only had like 5 roulette type pieces. We had like Hooked by Eric Ross. We had like a piece. I think Morgan Strebler's Razor's Edge. We had a Smash and Stab. We had a paintball I don't even know what it is, like a Russian roulette with a paintball gun. But what we did is on the way into the room, there were a glass cabinet with 100 objects in it that were all dangerous: fireworks, an axe, a chainsaw, and right in the middle there were just a can of soup that were like right in the middle. And it said how many people on the way in stopped for a second to look at all the dangerous items and objects that are inside the glass case, and everybody puts their hands up. And it's like every single one of those objects, whether you knew it or not, has been responsible for the death of at least one person. And a lot of you right now are thinking, well, how did somebody die using a can of soup? And then you tell this story about how they drowned in the soup, right? And you
That's
say, look,
funny.
that the can of soup's number 17. It's the only number that you can't choose. But
Mhm.
you give us a number from 1 to 100, and whatever number it is you choose, that's what object we're going to use tonight. The beauty of that is that we only have 5 roulette objects. So the performance, it could be Smash and Stab that night. It could be we've loaded it. We know which one we're going to force. But what does it suggest? It suggests
Mhm.
you could have been doing something with a real gun. It suggests you could have been doing something with the matches. It suggests you could have been using the chainsaw, the knives, the nunchucks. You know what I mean?
The soup, the dangerous kind of soup.
But that's the point. It suggests that you could have been using all those things. So using it as an actual selection process to a bigger thing, I
Mhm.
think it's a much better way to approach something like that, but it still doesn't mean that try to just lose the rigidity in what it is that you're doing. Now, to get the confidence to walk up to somebody, look, at the end of the day, I don't want to sound like I'm giving you an ego when I say this, but you are arguably the most interesting person in that room. How many other people can read somebody's mind? How many other
Mhm.
people can influence somebody's behavior? How many other people can captivate an audience with just words? So imagine having this incredible singing voice, like an amazing singing voice, and the world never hears it.
Mhm.
It's a crying shame. So just seek solace in that. Do you know what I mean? That you have a gift that most people don't have, and sharing it is the right thing to do. And that really doesn't answer the question, but it just makes your life a bit easier, understanding that people want to see what you've got. Now, I would suggest doing something that's hands off for the first performance, so that your hands are not shaking, but just let it ride out. Do you know what I mean? And It'll be what it is. That once you get through that first performance, you'll be fine. And look, the one time that you don't feel any nerves at all is the one time that you're going to bomb harder than you've ever bombed.
That's funny. Yeah, when you don't care.
Yeah, no, it's like because you don't care. Like, look, when I'm studying the wings and I'm about to go out on stage, if I'm doing a show or a lecture or anything, for the first 20 seconds, I'm not nervous, but I'm like anticipating what's coming. And as
Mhm.
soon as I open my mouth, I'm golden.
I was going to tell you here, somebody, Brandon Wilkinson, I just saw it, is asking about the consultation and membership.
So interestingly, and this is wild, and I'm not just saying this. Brandon's actually one of the people. Brandon got the consultation.
Oh, really? Well, that's funny. Just to be clear, so from before in the kit, you mentioned that somebody was going to get a consultation and a membership, and or sorry, mentorship from you, and we're going to announce that this stream as to who you picked for to do a consultation and to mentor, and that was just something that you established from the Kickstarter live stream that we did when we were putting out the Psychic Survival Kit. So Brandon, that's funny that it was him, because if that's the case, then that's a good bit of serendipity.
Yeah, no, yeah, I didn't expect a question to come in. We were just about to get to that. But Brandon, you won the consultation. So anything that you've got some consultation time, anything you want to learn, anything you want to know about, anything that you want to think about, anything that and again, people are probably going to think that, oh, like I've had your message, what they think what they want. But yeah, you were genuinely picked at random. So it's great that you messaged in. Now, in terms of the mentorship, this is a difficult one because I had a group of people. I'd put like together 20 people that I thought, okay, these are the 20 names, and I passed them forwards to you.
Mhm.
Did you pick one of the names out of the 20 people I sent you?
Well, yeah, there was one that stood out to me in terms of just obviously you don't want to make it random, right? I don't want to pick somebody at random, but to be clear, these were
the stipulations. So let me just say. So I'll tell you
no.
what the stipulations were that I sent to Pickcake. So it's very difficult for me to. I wanted people that I'd definitely be able to work with, right? That's something that were important for me. So if it were just like a pie in the sky thing of somebody that I didn't know or I'd not heard of, or there were still some people I looked up and checked and researched and they got added in, but I need to be able to closely work with somebody. And so I give like 20 names of people that I felt like I could work closely with because Pigcake knows I'm very particular when it comes to the way that I operate.
Yeah.
Uh, and so I just said, Pigcake, take that, and then you look through them and you decide who you think. And so I chose. I was the one that picked the consultation. I still don't know who it is that you picked, so I'm intrigued myself.
That's really funny. Well, I mean, it was from the people. Obviously, I got the campaign, that pledge for the campaign, and then to me, out of that list, there was just one name that stood out, and it's funny because I'm trying to. This is the worst thing to happen now because I don't know if to mention like the fake name that he has, like the stage name that he has, or his actual name, which is hysterical. So let me find the non
Which
one because I think he works under a pseudonym as well sometimes. So let me make sure that that's not the name that I use here for this. But let me find that here real quick for you.
which one?
Uh,
Which name did I send you? The pseudonym or the actual name?
you sent me, I think, the pseudonym. That's why you sent me the pseudonym. So I just want to make sure here because I think he doesn't want that.
That's down to three people for me who this could be now.
Who are they? Just to see if you're.
So there's I'll give the first three names: Lewis, Dan, and Colin.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, it's Colin. Colin is the one that I think by. Oh, I thought you were going to show like a prediction that you had that you're like, hey, here, I knew that you were going to pick Colin. No, but Colin, I think, is great. I met him in Ohio years ago. And I think that he is worthy of a mentorship just based on that list that you gave me, because we talked a good amount in Blackpool. His first time abroad, by the way, which was hysterical. And he has a lot of great sort of ideas when it comes to this branch of mentalism that's the esoteric type. That's not necessarily, oh, hey, write this down, I'm going to tell you. It's more reading based. It's more of this, and I think that he's definitely somebody that is is going to be a name that's going to be a household name in mentalism.
So just if you're watching, it's very important to note that by mentorship, I don't mean that you're going to be some student that I'm going to.
Put chocolate on his face.
Yeah, yeah. No, we're gonna. No, we'll just work closely, and I'll help you with look at the business side of things. I'll help you understand the way things work, and I'll help you look at ideas. You'll have access to backwards and forwards consultation stuff the same way that I would if I were consulting for somebody on a show. We'll work out something when it comes to your own stuff as well. Like I know you've already got a few things that are out there, so it'd be really great to talk and and work something out, and we'll just go through it together. But for me, I can tell you that understanding these core principles, my life entirely changed, and that's the gift that I'm gonna give to you. So just keep an eye on him over a year, and you'll see. You'll see.
So
Do you know what I mean?
Brandon, to be clear, Brandon Wilkinson and Colin Phelan are the other two there, which I think are banger names.
Yes.
Sorry, again, I'm getting distracted because Verstappen is still number one here in F1, and there is 6 laps left. And this is probably the most important thing that could be happening in this hour. No shame to you, Peter, but
you focusing for 10 minutes. Do you know what? It's like a fucking magpie.
The tribal chief, Max Verstappen.
Look at that!
Right.
Look at that! Look at the finger.
Well, I can't do this like I want to.
The little finger just.
So
in the fucking wind direction.
No, what I'm doing is that I'm acknowledging the tribal chief. That is Max Verstappen, who's been number one this entire race in Austin, Texas, believe it or not, which we drove through for this godforsaken box that we put together. There's a lot more questions, by the way, in regards to just performances. But let me see if there's any specifically on the kit. There's one here by Patrick Riley that says, will the Grail add-on arrive with the kit? I'm sure this was addressed in a 24-hour live stream.
No, we'll send that before. So just for everybody that's watching, I want to try to send out the cold reading companion at the same time that I post out the Grails. So because there are so this is the way it is. There's certain people that have ordered because there were different, not tiers is the wrong word, but different packages. Some people ordered, so different packages. And the problem is that if I send the Grail out, I know that in my head, if I send the Grail out and I don't send it out with a package, I'm going to forget and things are going to fall through the cracks. And you might end up getting your Grail, but you won't get your Journey. You might end up getting your Cold Reader's Companion, but not your Grail. Do you know what I mean? So I want to wait till I've got the books in hand, and then everything's going to go out at the same time. But that will be before the box goes out.
Yeah. Okay. Because that was a question that I'm getting constantly on my personal email, which is great, by the way. It's great when I'm inundated by doing, what do you call this? What's it called when you're tech support, right? I'm Peter Turner tech support, which is an unofficial job that I've gotten.
No, you're just quick at it. So, right, let's quick fire some questions.
Okay. This one here is it still possible to order the kit? Not really.
Not at the minute.
Yeah, because it's just unfortunate.
We don't even know what the amount is yet that we know how many how many props and stuff we've ordered, but as I was saying earlier on, because the box we're getting the decent prototype, we've still not even ordered we've still not got the quantity amount to work out what makes it. Because the weird thing with the way you order this stuff, and this is wild, I never even really knew this.
I don't know if you've seen this.
Yeah, I've seen it.
I want to press the button, but it says something very inappropriate.
I never really knew this, but you can order 499 of something, and it might cost you $1,000. You can order 1,000 of something, and it might cost you $1,002.
That's funny, yeah.
It's a $2 difference, but you're getting 500 extra boxes. So that's just hyperbole. But the point is that
it's annoying. The annoying part too when it comes to that is again dealing with all the individual components of it. It's not just one shop fits all. It's a lot of individual stuff, but also logistically, it's also kind of nightmarish. But if, for example, something like the Grail that's relatively easy to ship, something like one of the other add-ons, we'd like to ship everything together. But also, if you want to purchase a Grail, it's not going to be available till after the fulfillment. If at all.
No, you can still get the Grail if you go.
No, sorry, not the Grail. The Psychic Survival Kit. The Psychic Survival Kit.
If you want the add-ons, like for example, as soon as the Cold Reading Companion becomes available, I'm gonna send out a PDF version to everybody that purchased it, and I'm gonna ship it out physicals when I ship out the rest. I'll then list it on my site. So if you missed out on getting the Cold Reading Companion, you'll be able to pick up your copy.
Yeah.
You know, like for example, the astrological card. Like we've had talks backwards and forwards. We don't know, you know, whether that'd be something we could send before, but I don't want to break it up. It's really not practical logistically. So the answer to your question is yes, the Grail will be posted before the box. No, the box won't be available right now, but if we order over, maybe. Maybe.
This guy asked about the live stream, which unfortunately we can't upload because YouTube is a bag of walnuts. This one, looking forward to the kit. This one's asking about that one. I think we already addressed. People are asking about the divination app that you mentioned with the kit.
Oh yes. So what's happening with that at this moment in time? I'm working with somebody else. So I'm not going to mention the person's last name, but there's something called Darren that Lloyd introduced me to, and I need to rendezvous with Darren to get the idea built into its full form. But we have an app, right? We just need to work out the finer details. So that'll probably go out with the box.
Yeah. Okay.
Just because that gives me a bit of time to get it tested and other things. I'm not a techie, so I know it works because I made like a very foundational, rudimentary version of it, but I have somebody actually decent building a full version of it.
How can you get rid of any form of guilt while performing mentalism tricks? Also, it's very difficult to perform with friends and family because they don't take seriously any word I say. Yeah, which is why you never perform anything that's like, like, hey, I have the ability to figure out the name you're thinking of, and then your mom would be like, no, you can't. No, you fucking can't. What are you talking about? Yeah, I raised you. You were inside of me. You know.
But that's it. So look, like I don't have any guilt. Like ultimately, I'm not. When I say I'm not taking money off people, I mean on a personal level. In business, it's a different thing. If they booked me for an event as a mind reader, I never look. Chris Cox is a great mind reader.
And a great name.
A great mind reader. He's like a great mind reader. But I never really understood that the very first line that comes out of his mouth every time is, I am Chris Cox, a mind reader that can't actually read minds. And I never got that. You know what I mean? It were always a case of, I've always said it to you, and I've said it a million times, but we are not what we portray ourselves to be. If you try to adamantly tell somebody you're not a psychic and they believe you are, they're going to believe you are and that you're just hiding it. If they believe you're a hustler and you're going to steal from them, no matter how much you try to convince them, I just want to show you a trick. Do you have a banknote? They're not going to give you it. They're the ones that decide what you are, and all you're doing is nurturing the direction that they lean in, and that's it.
Another one here is so that was about guilt. This one is Harlan Tarbell talks about how magicians aren't magicians because they know some tricks. They're magicians because they know the fundamentals of magic, says Michael Morrell, which is a good way to say it.
That's right.
This is an interesting one. Your brother says, hey, Pete, how to twist a 10 to 24th, which I hate, so it doesn't feel odd.
My brother?
No, it says your brother. That's the name of the account.
Oh, my brother. How to do the what?
The 10 to 24th.
The 10 to 24?
Yeah, you have to know this one. It's like, name me a number between 10 and 20. Okay, great.
Yes,
we'll deal down to that. Add the digits.
Okay, yeah, no, so I don't know. I never even called it the 10 to 24, so I just call it like in arbitrary dealing force. I didn't even know the name. So look, there's a bigger question here that's really, and it's something I'm learning. So please, bear with me when I go through this, because this is a big thing, and I think I'm going to make a full video on this. Is every single effect has a process. Every effect has a process, right? Every effect has a process. It doesn't matter what it is. As soon as you tell somebody to think of something and then you start doing something, that's the process. But what I'm really starting to get around, and what I'm trying to work around a lot, is how does a process not fit? So as soon as I say, okay, take these cards, now give them a cut, now deal down these cards, now pick up those cards, Now cut those. Now it's all process, right? So one thing I'd say to you is anything can make sense as long as you make the process make sense. And that's it. And it sounds like a really simple way to look at it, but it's like, right, first, why is there that number of cards? Look at the problems and solve the problems. So go to yourself, right? Why is there that number of cards? Well, it's that number of cards because you need that number of cards to make that particular force work. Right? So how do I naturally arrive at that number of cards? That's the first question. If you can answer that, and look, my answer to that question might be different to yours. But do you have a deck of cards there?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So cut some cards off. So you could cut as few or as many as you want off. Right, count them out for me.
Yeah. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17.
Okay, so let's round up. Let's just take, say, 3 and we'll have 20 cards.
Okay. 1, 2, 3.
Okay, so now you cut some cards off. If you'd have cut 27 cards off, we might have rounded up to 30. If you'd have cut 23 cards up, it might be 25. I obviously didn't know the number of cards that you were going to cut off.
Yeah.
Now, straight away, I know you can do that with a full pack. You don't need to deal off. You don't need to cut some off to start with. But my point there is, in my head, I'm going, what's the process to get to 20?
Yeah.
Okay, so now why am I having you deal a specific amount? What, like, what's the, in my head, I go, right, firstly, why am I dealing cards? What's the point? Is there a better force is there a better force that I can do to arrive at that number? Is it better to reverse count the cards? Do you understand my point? So I'm like, pinpoint the problems and then solve them. Pick each problem. So let's step by step go through it and let's just try it. A 2-minute exercise. So you, in its most arbitrary fashion, perform it, and then I'll break down what I feel the problems are.
Okay. And I believe sorry, I was going to say the force card is, I believe, the 9th, if I remember correctly. I'm not sure. No, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, it's what I was going to suggest, by the way, funnily enough, that you're segueing essentially as to the entire purpose of the Psychic Survival Kit, which is having a reason as to why you're doing, and then the tarot deck would be perfect for a thing like this because it's 21 or 22 cards. So it makes sense.
No, 22.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So that makes sense as to why you have a limited amount and you have them name a number between, let's just say 10 and 20 to keep it interesting.
I mean, with this, it really doesn't matter because you can still use a full deck in the hand.
Yeah.
But the weird part is the restriction on asking for the number.
Yeah. Well, to make it difficult or whatever. But you're right. That's kind of a pop up.
It's 13.
Yeah. So you would, we will deal down 13. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. And then in order to make this difficult, why don't we just add in the digits of 13? So we'd be adding 1 to 4, which, 1 to 3, which is 4.
Yeah, 4.
Yeah. So then deal off that pile that you just made, deal 4. 1, 2, 3, 4.
And
there you go. It would be, by the way, somebody said the force card is 10th, and yeah, you're right. So if you deal 1, 2, 3, it would be this one.
Yeah. So I do it slightly different to this. So right. So the very first thing that I do is the tarot cards make it more interesting. I always have it. I do it. I think if I remember right, and I haven't done this for years because I just think that the force is a terrible force. But
yeah,
I used to do it face up, and I would have it at 9, but 11 cards down from the face.
Okay. Yeah.
That's how I do it. And I can't remember if it was because it ended up on the packet on the table or what, but I'd have it 11 cards down from the face. And I don't know whether that was because I did a cut thing. I can't remember if I did the cut thing with it, but I remember it being offset. It won't bang on 10.
Yeah.
And I can't remember the reason why, but that doesn't matter. So look, this is for me where it becomes interesting because I don't know if you realize how numerology works, right? So the way that numerology works is that, let's say you took the date you were born, the 26th of October, which is my date of birth. You'd add 10 to 26, which would give you 36. And then you reduce it down to a single digit. So you then take the 3 and the 6. Sorry, it'd be 36. 3 and the 6, add them together, it'd be 9. And so 9 would be my life number. That's how you work out how to give a numerological reading. So if you were to go to Google and you were to type in how to give a numerological reading, that'd be the exact process that would come up. genuinely can do that. That will be the process that comes up to give a numerological reading, right? Now, with the tarot cards, you could do something that's relatively interesting in the sense that you've got a smaller number of cards, so you could say to them like, look, do you have a favorite number? And then you could do it with that, and you could get them to numerologically reduce down to one card. I still think the force is a little bit of a problematic force. One, that there's a smaller amount of cards. I don't like that. Two, having to ask somebody for a number and then add numbers together. I don't like that. So
Yeah.
there's better ways. There's better ways to do it, but let's address each bullet point as a process. So you take your card that's on the top of the deck, and then you say to somebody, I want you to think of a number from 1 to 52. When you've got one.
Yeah.
Do you go for a number in the 20s?
Yeah.
23?
22.
22, okay. So if we'd have dealt down 22 cards, we'd have been exactly where you were, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, I'm going to tell you that most people tend to go for that number. So in your head, I want you to think of a different number for me.
Okay.
So now there's a very, very good chance, if you're not playing the part of a skeptic, which now you'll be in the 40s at 42, you're now on a number that's under 20.
Yeah.
Right? Which will be most of the time. But what's interesting about it is if you had everybody at the table doing that at the same time, because the majority are going to be under 20, you're now not having to fat about by asking for a number under. You've given the choice of 1 to 52.
Yeah.
If you find that somebody's picked like 37 or 42 or whatever, at that point, what I do is I do something else with that person, and then I'd rope it back using the number under 20 the second time.
Yeah. Okay.
So it sounds, I mean, maybe that sounds convoluted, but when you see it in performance, what you end up with is think of a number from 1 to 52. Do you get one? Did you go for a number in the 20s? Yeah. You have like 23, 27. You'll get a hit most of the time on that. Bam. You've nailed it out of the gate. Okay, that's because most people go for that. Now you just shot on your reveal. Say, give me, in your head, think of another number. And again, you could go for whatever number you want, but I don't want to be dealing down all day.
Yeah. Yeah. So you're getting them between that bank.
That's it. So now you're in that bank. That's the first thing. The second thing now is, so that's fixed for the majority of the time. And you're going to know as soon as you ask the question. As soon as you ask that question, you're going to know whether it's under 20 or not. Now, what you've done is killed the 20s, which is great because either side now, when you think about it, you're actually going to be in the 20s. So if somebody names a number in the 30s, you could get them to get rid of that number of cards and put them in the pocket.
Yeah. Okay.
So you chose 32 cards to get rid of. So just take 32 cards from the face, put them into your pocket. And I'm just making this up now, but you're already now down to that narrow sliver of 20 cards. They're the cards that you have left. So,
yeah. Okay.
Okay, so you got rid of what, 33 cards there? So okay, so you've got 20 cards that are left there. Whatever. So just make up that amount, get them in the pocket. If they name a number under 20, just have them deal from the top of the deck. So now is where it becomes interesting, because that part of the process, again, is a little bit ham-fisted. I don't really like the force, but I'm just working with the confines of what you give me. Now we're going to have to add the two numbers together. So the 1 and the 4, or the 6 and the 2, whatever. We're going to have, sorry, the 6 and the 1. We're going to have to add these numbers together to arrive at a random number. So what I'd get them to do is I won't do it the way that everybody does it. So let me show you how I think I'd do it, right? So I do it backwards. I think I'd do it backwards. So this is the way I do it. So let's say you've got 20 cards left in your hand. So think of any number of cards between 1 and 20, because they're the amount that you've got left.
Okay.
You're
thinking.
I don't want you to do anything. You're just thinking of it.
Okay.
Now, obviously, don't know what number you're thinking of, right? But in a moment, we're going to arrive at a random single digit. So if you've got a double-digit number, just add those two numbers together. Keep that number in the back of your head for now. Okay. So whatever your original number was, just deal it down.
Okay. Yeah.
So now I've stacked up the instructions. It doesn't feel like you're doing one set of instructions and now a second set.
Yeah. That's cool. So you made them together.
Yeah, you're pinning them together, and then now you know. At the end of the day, when they get down to that amount, then you say to them, "Okay, I don't even want to know the small number that you've got in your head, but deal that number down as well."
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
It just feels a little bit more. So now you've gone from, and I know we're sort of going around in circles, but I'm just showing you a creative session here. So this is what it looks like. This is exactly what that trick would look like now. So I want you to think of a number from 1 to 52 for me. It could be any number you want, but tell me when you've got one.
Yeah,
Be honest, did you go for a number in the 20s?
I did.
Okay, so most people tend to go for, say, 23, 27. Did you?
I went 25.
25. Okay, so you see what I'm saying? It's in that range, 23 to 27, right? So I'm going to say, just because most people do, don't go for that. I want you to think of another number from 1 to 52. But remember, we're going to be dealing down, and I don't really want to be here all day. You can pick a number like 50 if you want, but keep it interesting for everybody. Okay, so have a number in your head.
Yeah.
I don't want to know what that number is, but I'm going to assume it's a double digit.
Yeah.
So take those two numbers as separate numbers and add them together in your head. So, for example, if you're 13, it'd be 1 and 3, and it'd be 4. Now, lock whatever that number is into the back of your mind. For now, just deal off the first number that you thought of. So, whatever the number is, deal it off.
Yeah.
And now deal off the small number as well.
Yeah,
Now,
that's cool. Yeah,
It's-
that's cool.
You know what I mean? It feels a lot fairer but it's still not right. It's still not the best
No,
way.
but it seems less like some sort of mathematical component did it.
Yeah, but it's still not the right. I still don't feel it's the right way to do it. But with a little play, a little bit of play, like 10 minutes, half an hour, 20 minutes, which I don't have right now.
Yeah.
You could get better and better and better at it. But I just wouldn't use that force. I think there's much better forces.
Yeah. Funnily enough, Hungry and Hungover said, speaking of Morgan, oh, no, never mind. That's the wrong one. He said, the other night I was drunk and got handed a deck. I wasn't up to do anything, but I utilized the lessons from the Turner effect. It works. Watching him shuffle, you see so much thanks, which is somewhat of what you would do in place of that 10 to 20 force, because you just use one of the techniques.
Do you know what? Right. Close your eyes for a second. Close your eyes. Right. And again, people are going to think this is a setup, but it's not. So this number plus this is generally what somebody will do. So open your eyes and shuffle the deck, and then just fire cards down. Don't even count them. And then, so it's a shuffle, shuffle, shuffle.
Okay.
And then fire cards down onto the table quickly and stop wherever you want.
Okay.
Okay. So I don't even know how many you got down there.
Yeah.
But you'll be within that ballpark. So how many did you deal down? Did you count them?
I don't fucking know. No. So that's
pick the cards up and count them.
Yeah. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14.
Well, a lot more. You dealt them well quick. So, but it doesn't matter. We're only 4 cards out, right?
Oh, really?
So we're only 4 cards out. So So from what I said, 4 cards. But that shows you that I'm not just texting you to tell you. Now, to get you to adjust 4 cards is not really difficult, right? It's not like so now maybe having them fire them down.
Yeah.
And then getting them to add the number together after they've done that.
Oh, I think of a small number. Deal those down.
I just don't think it's the best force. If you're gonna like I'll literally show you now what I do if I were doing this for real. I'll just do it to you, so as if I were doing it. And again, so is there any way your camera pans down? Can you not do that?
Yeah, hopefully you can't see my shorts, which are very short.
So take the whole deck of cards. I'll show you how I do this. This is how I do it if I were doing it for real. So shuffle them, and then give them a riffle shuffle. And as you're riffling these, and then give them another shuffle, name a number from, and again, you can make this as low or as high as you want it to be. I'd say try to stay away from going for the obvious numbers, but give me a number from 1 to 52.
I'm going to say 17.
Okay. So I want you to think of a playing card as you're shuffling these cards.
Okay.
And then just deal them face up one at a time onto the table. So what playing card are you thinking of?
5 of clubs.
Okay, so deal them. So that's 1 to 17.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. 6 of clubs. That was close.
No, but what does that prove? It proves that you can't just name a card. You can't just name a number and expect it to be there. But pick the cards up for a second on the back of the deck.
Right here?
Yeah, and then keep them in view. So bring them up to where your head is and then pan the camera up for a second.
Okay.
So keep the cards in view. So you obviously shuffle that deck. You can't just name a card and expect it to be there. Right?
Yeah.
But if I ask you right now, don't really think about it. Just say, what's the first number that pops into your head? Just say it. Don't think.
7.
7. So we obviously have reds or blacks, and we have clubs, hearts, spades, and diamonds. So I want you to think of a suit, but don't tell me it.
Okay.
Now, I don't know what suit you're thinking of. There's no way I could. But I'll tell you what. completely change the color and the suit of the card you're thinking of.
Okay.
Okay, so what suit are you on now?
Oh, spade.
Spade. So 7 of spades.
Yeah.
So keep the camera cards in view as you pan back down with the cards.
Okay.
7 of spades. Do you know where the 7 of spades is inside the deck?
No idea.
Just slowly deal them one at a time, face down onto the table. And you can stop whenever you want.
Okay.
Do you want to do one for luck? Are you happy? Do you want to do one and cut some? It's up to you. Do you want to do a couple? It doesn't matter to me.
We'll do a couple.
Okay. So get rid of the rest of the cards.
Yeah.
So you shuffle this deck, right?
Yeah.
You thought of a number from 1 to 52. You never said it out loud. What's that card there? Can we have a look at it?
What's the 8 of spades?
Oh, 8. Oh, I saw 7. Fucking hell. But that'd be so when I'm dealing them down on the table, I saw 7, but it doesn't matter.
To be fair, yeah. If you're looking at it, it does look like a 7. Yeah.
I thought it was a 7, but it doesn't matter. The point that I'm making, I'll share with you how I do that. I don't mind. When the cards are being shuffled, and this is the worst deck to do it with, but when the cards are being shuffled, no, so the next, you only pick 2 more. But
yeah,
when the cards are being shuffled, I just clock the card that's at the 15th position, and then I force it. So like shuffle the deck and just put 1 card on the table. It doesn't matter what it is. So I'll show you, like, if you get the Turner effect, which is, and again, if I'd have seen this, and it's a terrible signal, lift the camera up, but don't look at that card. So bring the card up, but don't look at the card.
Okay.
Close your eyes. And show us what it is. Okay, so this one's a relatively difficult one, but I'll try it. So in your head, I want you to think about maybe the last suit that you'd name if I asked you right now. What would be the last suit that you name?
Diamond.
Diamonds, okay. I want you to think of a random value for me, but don't tell me what it is.
Okay.
Now, just to randomize, if you're thinking of a low number, jump to a high number, and if it's a high number, jump to a low number.
Okay.
Now, what was the first number you started on?
First number was 3.
3, and then you change your mind, right?
No.
Okay. What did you change to?
9.
9. So 9 of diamonds.
Yeah.
Right.
You bitch.
Right. So you get better at that. All of these forces are on the Turner project. So
cool.
But all I do is I'd psychologically force whatever's at position 15, and then I just timing force you to 15. It's so much easier. And by nudging them, do you want to deal 1 down? Do you want to deal 1 and cut some? Do you want to deal a couple down? You're nudging them closer, right? But just again, so close your eyes.
Okay.
Shuffle the deck. Close your eyes. Let us see you shuffling them. Let's see you shuffling them, and then pick one out at random.
That one.
Change that one, and I'll explain why in a moment. Okay, so that one. So squeeze it between both your hands. Don't look at it.
Okay.
And then look at me. So everybody else can. You could try this, and you'll see it works. But in the deck, obviously, cards have been used over the years for many, many different things. If you go all the way back to supposedly the Egyptian periods, they had very basic versions of cards. They've been used in tarot. They've been used in all sorts of things. So I want you to think about, obviously excluding the aces, what you feel might be the most mysterious card in the deck, but don't tell me it.
The most mysterious?
You feel. So if you feel, for example, that the 9 of diamonds is the most mysterious, that's the one that you'd go with. But don't say it, think it.
Okay.
So look at me for a second. Imagine the suit.
Okay.
Do you know what? I think the color's right. The suit's just wrong.
Okay.
What suit are you thinking of right now?
So I went from the spade to the club.
So you're thinking of a club right now?
Yeah.
What card are you thinking of?
Jack.
Jack of clubs. Have a look at it, right? So
very mysterious. Oh, you bitch. Another one. Yeah, fucker. And I hate it because
all day long. I've got one, and I have ways to on the Turner effect. I have ways to if you are off, I have ways to nudge you to the right card psychologically. Little silly things like if you're watching this stream at home right now, if you're watching this stream, I can show you one bona fide way right now that I could practically force any number card in the deck. So it's a really easy one. But look, you do a quick pull at the table, pull a card out, and just show us it.
Okay.
I'll teach you a really easy method now. Okay, so that's a Jack again. So give us another another card. Okay, so that. So now,
Five. Five diamond
right,
forward.
so look, so this is what you do. So let's say it's the 5 of diamonds, right? So this is what I do. So I'd go around the table and I'd say, how many people here use a Visa debit card? How many people use MasterCard, right?
Huh?
Every single Visa card on planet Earth starts with a 4. Every single MasterCard starts with a 5. So if I'm picking somebody that's got a Visa debit, right? So if you get your bank card out right now, have a look. It's a Visa, it'll be a 4, MasterCard will be a 5.
Yeah.
So
Cool.
let's say that it's, so I say, do you remember your long card number off by heart? They say no.
Mhm.
And then you go, okay, so just look at the first digit. So let's say it's, are you Visa or MasterCard? Do you know?
I have both, but I have Visa mostly.
Okay, so yours would be a 4.
Yeah, I know.
So I'd pull and I'd say, I'll tell you what, focus on what that first number is. And then I'd say, look at me for a second. Go up by 1, but don't tell me what that is, right? And now let's make a suit random. If you're thinking of a 1 or if you're thinking of a 1 or a 2 right now, so if it was 0, you might have gone up to 1. But if you're thinking of a 1 or a 2, go for a club. If this is a 3 or a 4, go for a heart. If it's a 5 or a 6, go for a diamond. If it's a 7 or an 8, go for spade. And if you didn't understand what it is that I'm saying, go for any suit you want.
And that's funny. Yeah.
But now I know using the silent running process that they're on the 5 of diamond.
Yeah.
And I've just pinned the suit. So there's easy ways to force any card in the deck. You've just got to do the timing force to get them to 15.
Yeah.
And that's the bit that's a little bit more difficult, right? So, and again, try to avoid using a pack of cards like pig cakes, because when you're doing Out of This World or any trick with them, they're just a
Listen,
mess.
it's a pink color palette. All right. It's a wonderful deck. Okay. It's not an edgy Ouija board. Fucking.
It just needs to be readable.
Or cross keys, special edition pink.
But
one of one.
So you know, like, just not to plug it, but to shamelessly plug it. If you go over to www.sleightoofmind.co.uk or www.peterturner.co.uk, you can pick up the Turner effect, which is my take on David Berglass's effect, and I show you every way to do it from a shuffle deck to do. Literally, you could shuffle a deck. You can have somebody think of a card as they're shuffling, and they'll shuffle that card to the top of the deck for you.
Yeah, it's cool. Yeah. I remember. I forgot all the little things now that you reminded me, like of, for example, a couple of the forces that you were just trying on me. It's funny because now I'm remembering.
Yeah, I've so many, and I've spent years like crafting them, and genuinely, I swear, hand on heart, I did think I saw 7. So I just, because that's the force for the 7 is just name the first number that pops into your head.
Yeah,
that's the force for the 7. So I thought I'd seen a 7. But when you're doing this stuff, don't ever be worried. Like, look, you know, when it comes to, again, just one more card. Let's do a difficult one. Again, close your eyes and just hold them up and pick one out.
Okay.
Okay. So would you believe me if I told you?
Sorry. I fucking saw it. I saw it.
Okay, go again.
Okay. That one?
So cover it in your hands. Don't look at it.
Okay.
Okay, so this is what I want you to do. Don't say anything out loud, but just think of the first small number that pops in your head, but don't say it.
Okay.
Now, the reason I said that is, I mean, you could go for anything, but look at me for a second.
Okay.
Go down by 1.
Okay.
Name a color. What's the color? Just say it. Don't think.
Red.
What's the suit? Tell me.
Heart.
Okay, what's the number?
2 of hearts.
Have a look.
Hey, it was that one. Yeah. It was that one, dude.
Point is, there's a million of these. Do you know what I mean? And they're so easy to do, but you just got to learn that. And people are going to probably think that you're looking, or this is set up and whatever.
Oh, fuck that. I hate to make you look good.
But my point is that it's easy. So my advice, and my honest advice, is when it comes to that 10 to 20 force, and again, I didn't know the name of it, is find better forces. There's a million out there. A reverse count's better than that. The Barry Richardson or the Animan Akan, the think stop is better than that.
Well, it would work in the context of the tarot deck. It's funny because you could tie in numerology or whatever. But yeah, there's better ways to use it, or better ways to force tarot cards.
Yeah, I'm not but that's what I'm saying. There's much better forces. There's much and ones that don't require, like the Barry Richardson, the Ice Cold Akan. If you go over to Illusionist, you can get it there. I'd recommend picking up 202 methods of forcing and go through that. It's, you know, originally in the Animan book, And there's a
I
beautiful.
love that ballsy one where they name a number and you're doing this, right? And then whatever the number is, you just slap the cards on top. Just
Yeah.
It says confidently slap the cards on top of the deck, and then that's the card that you're
But
forcing.
this is not the one that I'm talking about, by the way.
No, I know. Yeah, but I just remember that one from
for context. The Barry Richardson one,
yeah,
is flop switch, but it's a really beautiful version of that. And they can name any number as long as it's 5 less than 50.
Yeah, which I got
an enormous range. Do you know what I mean? So yeah. Anyways, let's do 3 more quick fire questions. And it's now 10 p.m. and I've got to get ready for a flight. So,
yo, dude, that sucks so hard. Let's see. Maybe somebody recorded the stream. The 24-hour stream. I don't think so. Nobody's approached and said, "Hey, here's a bit," which is unfortunate because again, that could have been a bunch of videos in and of itself. And I really wanted to see us get increasingly stupider as the hours went by.
It's interesting because I finished up how you started.
You finished up the way I started, which is?
This is the most beautiful moment of this stream for me. You went to see us get progressively stupider.
Okay, all right. Thank you, mate. Thank you, dude. I'm sorry.
I finished up how you started.
I had some beers yesterday. I'm apologizing. This one says, do you plan on printing new playing cards?
I don't really know. Pigcake knows more about that stuff than me. I've got all the designs.
Uh-huh.
Got all the designs. I'd be tempted to do the resurrected decks if we could come up with a better system for the markings.
Well, the closest thing.
I love the markings because I'm very good. I've used them for so long.
Yeah.
But yeah, maybe Pigcake can do that. Maybe that's something that you want to look at, Pigcake.
Maybe. I just, from the learning experience that I had printing the missing piece deck of playing cards, that I made a grand total of negative $400 on that, which was a wonderful learning experience. I suggest for everyone to go through that. Fuck. People are praising your ability to come up with stuff on the spot, which is great. We're being asked if there's a crystal, if there's going to be magnets in the crystals for the Cyclic Survival Kit.
So we have the crystals and we have the magnets. So where we're at the minute is you have to drill them under the water to not have them split. We found that. Messing about with it, we didn't know if it were easier to paint it. We're trying to locate a rock that's an actual magnet itself. I am in contact with somebody that does the magnetic ones, just whether I can get a strong enough one that works through the hands. So that's where. So like I said, we've got all the individual components. We just need to have a look and see what ends up being what.
Yeah, which is again the pain in the butt, because in my infinite wisdom, I just assume, oh, you could just put it in there and then that's it. No, because then it cracks. It cracks, and then it's very obvious.
You have to pillar drill it in water. It's not easy.
Yeah. I'm putting together my first film magic product. Could you give me your best advice so I could produce the best project I can? Audio?
Audio, and also overshare. Don't be scared of oversharing. We're all a community. You know, the more you overshare, the better the value is of the stuff that you give. You know, it's.
A question for the both of you. Have you thought of creating an effect using artificial intelligence or an app? I have, funnily enough, just playing around with it.
Luke Turner has produced something called Picasso, which is, he's figured all that stuff out. He's the guy that's doing all that stuff at the minute. Maybe Pigcake, but I've grown to hate AI.
It's awful.
So I use it. So, for example, I'll play like 10 seconds of it just so you can see what I sent you. And every one of these individual elements were made on AI, but but the layers that were involved with this were ridiculous. So this is, I don't know if you'll better see it, but I'll play it. So
that's so funny. That's so fucking dumb. Oh shit! What? Bro, what the fuck? Oh, you gave me gauges, you fuck. What the fuck?
Yeah, I've spent ages like piecing it to like all the little things like here on the the screen, like even superimposing it onto the face of the
Yeah.
face of here, and
That's so dumb. That is so dumb. I love the just the little stupid tattoos. That looks fucking great.
yeah, it's taken ages.
Yeah, that's cool. Look at that, dude. Fucking A, that's sick.
You're running off.
Dude, I
So-
hate that you fucking gave me gauges there. I look like
I made it for the second half of the documentary. I know it looks terrible on there, but it looks great in person.
yeah.
But every bit of that is like a sprite, and then I'm having to paint the sprite in Photoshop, and it's got a blue background, and I'm having to upload it back into some, and then animate one movement, and then make a background separate and animate and do it all in pieces, and then superimpose that onto the arcade machine. Do you know what I mean? It's taken
Yeah.
using it like that. I think it's passable for a 20-second, 30-second clip.
Yeah, you can never use it as is, which is what
No,
most
I
people
don't
do.
like it. Listen, I swear to you on this. I thought I'll get behind this. I'll see. And I asked for a force for the number 10,
Mhm.
right? And it said, I swear it said this. I think I sent you the screenshot of it
Mhm.
just to see how it compared to a force that I might come up with. Say to somebody to put their hands behind their back. So put your hands behind your back, Pig Cake.
Okay.
Hold up a number of fingers.
Yeah.
Think about how many more fingers that you'd need to make it up to 10.
Yeah.
Add that number to the number of fingers you're holding up.
Great. Yeah.
Are you thinking of 10? That
I'm
would
thinking of
genuinely,
10.
that would genuinely the force. It were like the worst. And I just give up at that point, and I were like,
Yeah, but coding shit is great. I had to code my website.
no,
And
it's great. It's great for that sort of stuff. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
If you're using it as part of a process in pieces for something bigger, you know what I mean? I think it's really changing the world. The problem is that what somebody will do is they'll go, write me a script for a magic trick that's like this, and then they'll go out and speak the way that they
Yeah.
say, or tell me this information, and it's wrong. Like a lot of the time, like there's little simple things it can't do math. Have you ever tried to design like words in there? It can't do it. It's like using it as a baseline for something. Like we did some of the advertisements on the Midjourney, but we were pushing all the words in and fonts ourselves, the titles, re-photoshopping the images.
Yeah.
Using
Yeah.
the baseline is all right, but yeah,
like a foundation to build upon. But even then, it's
I'm not really good with it, so it scares me. It scares me. Yeah, right. 2 more quick fires, go, because I'm going for tea. I'm going for my dinner.
Forte. Fuck. God, thank God. I'm back here where I call it dinner again. Did you figure out how to make the enhanced pendulum workable, or any other prop upgrade, or still work in progress? Work in progress.
So we've had progress on the astronomical card. We've upgraded that to a credit card. We've also then used the space that took up to make a book test in the tarot deck that'll allow you to do a book test with any book. So we've added a host of routines with that. As I was just saying a moment ago with the pendulums, still experimenting. But in the plight of doing that, what I said to myself is, how could I do these routines without that? And I ended up coming up with like 2 or 3 extra routines for the stones and other things, and using like Quran subtleties to do stuff. So yes, and no. So that's the answer to that. But we're still looking. We've still got time, you know.
Yeah. And then ultimately, just bottom line, still a work in progress. But then it's funny because every time we sort of hit like a physical stop, you come up with 5 or 6 different things that are added to the kit, like with the book test, for example, or maybe deciding the Astro card being a credit card. Now let us get some more creative freedom. And it's funny because it's just constantly adding shit to it that we didn't expect. And it's better for people that are buying it because they're not paying extra, but you're still adding shit, which is great.
Last question. Make it sure it's a good one, because I'm gonna.
This one. Well, I guess this one's one. Hi, Peter. I'm a noob. I'm Noob, your brother mentalist, but I've some of the box stuff. How can I share them with you? Oh, I have some ideas on the box stuff. This guy just has some ideas there. But the last question here that I could find is on shipping. Has the estimated shipping date changed?
No. So as we said at the start of the stream, the idea is, so right now, so where we're at, just so that I can round it off, and I think this is a great place to finish. Every one of the individual aspects of things have been ordered. So they've been done. So even though Kickstarter have not fully paid us out, which is, again, we still yet to receive about 30% of the money from there, we've taken that money, and that's gone into all the individual props. I got the prototype for the box on the way back to me. The first one wasn't right. I didn't like the quality of it. I didn't like the feel of it. As soon as that comes back, it's going away. The aim's to still ship before Christmas. That's still on target. But, and this is what I've said, and I've said this from day one, if something happens in between that time that's out of our hands, because we're waiting on other people at the minute,
Yeah.
you have to get that stuff, package it, and send it. That's it.
Yeah.
All the stuff on our end, the video's done apart from part 2 of the documentary. As you've seen, like that's the intro to it. Like he's looking amazing. That's all done. And the behind the scenes are the behind the scenes, but I'll do that with Pig Cake. All the performances are done, all the explanations are edited, the Cold Readers Compendium is all done, it just needs piecing into the right order. The Psychic Survival Guide is all done. That's pieced together. The Cold Readers Compendium or Companion, that's done. All the props are all designed and perfect. Outside of just experimenting a little bit more with a couple of things. So but we're just waiting for them to get them to us. And how long that takes, I don't know. They're ordered.
Yeah.
You know, they're ordered. We've ordered them. We just don't know what the time scale is of it getting from them to us.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, which is always the best part. It's always the best part because it could be.
Them. It's out of our hands at this moment, and if they do everything they're supposed to do, then everything will be on target. But it's going to be tight. So if there's a hiccup, and for example, all the rocks that they send us, the crystals, something's not right. I don't want to. I'd rather not send them as they are and do what a lot of other companies have done, where they make you have a subpar product because it's not been right. So
yeah. That's the part that it's time, which is fortunate and unfortunate because we don't necessarily just want to rush and get, okay, we got this, let's put it out. No, so we're getting things, looking at it, seeing if it's going to be viable. If it's not, then taking it as a loss, scrapping it, and then getting something better. Because again,
we've had a couple of hurdles, but we've got round them.
Yeah.
I think we're in good stead. I go away now for a couple of weeks, but in that couple of weeks, it doesn't matter because that's just waiting time for shipment. That's it.
Yeah.
So it makes no difference to the kit. But yeah, so the answer is we're still aiming, but we'll see. We'll keep everybody updated. But I think that's a good place to end. Is there anything else that's pressing?
No, I gotta tell you, I think that's a good, well-rounded stream we made, mate.
Yeah, send some of those ideas to Pig Cake, and then Pig Cake can send them to me.
Okay. Wow. Thank you. I'm glad I'm acting as a secretary.
No, but like whilst I'm away, what's like. If, for example, like these next 15 days are important. So I'd love to share. Anybody has any ideas that are of merit? Like I'd love to share them. The problem is right now. Like, look, yesterday, I've just been busy. Today I've been to a convention. I drove back. I've got to have my dinner, pack my case. I've got to book all these. If I showed you the list of hotels and flights and things that I've got to book, and then I'm off. Do you know what I mean? So it's like I have 5 minutes to myself. So I just need that time to be used so productively.
Well, then fuck it, dude. Fuck it. We're out here. We're working. We're grinding. But good to talk to you, man.
You too. I'll talk to you soon.
So let me end this for the.
Take care, everybody, and thank you for tuning in. And if you're not subscribed to the channel, subscribe.
Okay, so stream ending finished.